All right, this video is it's going to be lesson 5, 2 notes, and we are verifying Pythagorean theorem. So I'm proving our a squared plus b squared equals c squared 2 today, okay? So first thing we do, on the two pieces labeled box A, draw a line that creates two congruent rectangles, then draw all the diagonals on both pieces. Here's what I would do. Draw your diagonals, so that's from corner to corner. And you need to get as close as you can. And then what you can do to make the rectangles, if you take your piece, if I can pick it up, and if you fold it perfectly in half, so line it up the best that you can, and where you crease it, it should go through where the diagonals meet, but that kind of gives you an idea where to put your ruler so you can draw the two rectangles on there. So do that on both of your A pieces. Okay, and then on your B pieces, all you're going to do is just draw the diagonals. So from corner to corner on both of these. There's one. And then you don't have to do anything on the C pieces. So these are all the pieces of a right triangle. So this is a right triangle, this one here. Your right triangle is right here, or your right angle. And so C is your hypotenuse, A and B are your legs. Okay, you only need one of each for this first part. Okay, one of each box. You're going to take your boxes and you're going to match them up with the legs. Use a little tiny drop of glue. Don't, okay, because you will glue this thing together. So, like dead serious, like little tiny drop, dead in the center. And that way you can kind of move it around too. I guarantee you once it dries, it won't go anywhere. But you're going to line that A box up with that A leg. And then you're going to do the same thing with the B box. And then the same thing with the C box. So when we talk about squaring something, you're literally turning it into a square. Okay, so Pythagorean theorem is the sum of the squares of the legs equals the square of the hypotenuse. That's why it's a squared plus b squared, the squares. And so that means if I take the squares of these two legs, so again, literally making them squares, and I add these two squares together, they will equal the square made from the hypotenuse. Okay, so here's how we're going to prove it. So first thing that you can do, take box C, the one that you have left, and down here on this bottom one, glue it on the C leg. Okay, we're going to have to do some cutting. So we are going to cut the lines on this one, all the lines that we drew, we're going to cut. Okay? So I'm going to cut, and it doesn't matter what order you go in, but cut the diagonal, and then I'm going to cut this diagonal, and then I still have that other little line that I drew. I'm going to cut on that. You should have in total, once you cut your A box apart, you should have six pieces. Ugh. And then you're going to do the same thing with your B, just cut the diagonals. So you should have 4 pieces of your B box. Okay. We can make all of these little pieces fit perfectly on top of this one, on top of this C box. How? That's what I'm about to show you. All right, I started with the orange pieces. So if you notice, this is that diagonal. This is this corner here. Okay, this is the dashed line edge. But you can put it in that corner, and then you can do the same thing with another one of the orange pieces and stick it in that corner. Take your bigger, so you notice how I've got 4 little triangles and 2 bigger triangles with the pink. Those can go in the other 2 corners. These little pieces will make a rectangle. So you might have to kind of maneuver, but they're right angles. So if you put 2 of the hypotenuse together, they make a square. And then if you do it with the other one, you can make a rectangle out of it. And then that rectangle will go right here. So I'm going to try to get mine to... Trying to get mine to go in there. There we go. Maybe. It'll sit better once we get glue on it. But just kind of arrange it where you see where you need it. And then these 2 pieces, one of the triangles is going to go down like this, and then the other one will go up like this. So I'm going to start gluing mine down. If you can't figure out where your pieces go, let me know. I'm actually just going to scoot my whole thing off and start gluing down. But if you can't figure out where they go, let me know and I can kind of help you put them in the right spots. Again, little tiny bits of glue. Honestly, I may bust out the double-sided tape. But try to glue it, especially the edges, as close as you can to the edges of your yellow box. Try to get everything to line up. It should line up almost perfect. You may have a little bit of overlap because this is paper and we are using scissors, so. Grab the one on the desk next to you. Just chunk it. If it doesn't work, chunk it. Okay, so that's kind of where all the pieces should be. At the end of class, when we get done with the lesson, all that good stuff, if you want to grab like some of the regular tape and you want to put like a piece of regular tape over it to keep the corners from curling, you're more than welcome to use any of that stuff that you want.